All right, welcome everybody to the third official episode of the Undiluted Podcast with me, JP, Mike Simmons, and Kendra from Brooklyn. No, let me start introducing her like
Oh God! Every week though.
that. Let me start playing with her like that. Kendra, welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome,
Y'all,
welcome.
y'all heard her on the first unofficial episode. You know, me and her were talking about Marvel and DC. But anyway, back to this episode. So basically, this episode will be about the chilling adventures of Sabrina, the new Netflix show, the reboot of Sabrina. This one is more based on the comics, and also the Haunting of Hill House. You know, we'll be a little bit late, but you know, y'all think black folks late for everything, so fuck it.
Oh my God.
Oh, whatever. But anyway, we're gonna get to Sabrina first. Uh, so what did you guys? So when you first heard about this reboot, what did you think about it? Like before you knew anything about it, like as far as the cast, the direction they were going, like what was your initial reaction?
I didn't actually know about it until the day that they showed that it was starting. I didn't even know they were doing a Sabrina reboot. I had no clue. When I looked on Netflix the night it came out, I was like, oh, okay. And I just clicked on it because I was curious. And I watched the first episode and I was like, well, this is different.
Yeah, definitely different from
And
Melissa Joan Hart's version.
I decided to watch it. So, and I liked it.
What about you, Mike?
And man, I liked it. The trailer grabbed me, and it was just like interesting how the nostalgia grabbed me. As far as I know, she was gonna do a great job, the main lead, and it seemed like she was totally bought into the project. And what was cool about it, I personally did not know that, Sabrina the Teenage Witch was a comic. So
yeah,
I didn't know that either. So it's like with that being thrown out there and it was a comic off the Archie comics,
Yeah.
So like all that started to play and it kept drawing me in more as I got more into the series, and I was like, wow, this is they got something here, and I just knew off the trailer just got me, and I just knew that it was gonna be something major, something big.
Yeah, and it was perfect timing, especially with Halloween and coming out the week of Halloween. And
right.
it actually you mentioned Archie, and the show Riverdale is based on the Archie comics. And this show, I believe, Sabrina's show takes place in the same universe as Riverdale.
It does. It does.
So,
It was a lot of Easter eggs and gems that kept referring to Riverdale, and a lot of knockoffs in the same time period. It looks like, and this coming off a person that I don't even watch Riverdale, but I just know Archie off the comics from the newspapers. So
yeah.
so it's like, wow, So it's starting to come into fold. So it's going to make me dive back into the Riverdale series.
Yeah, you actually should watch that too. That's a pretty good show.
Yeah,
Riverdale
But
is pretty good.
I do see the relation between the way they set up Riverdale and the way Sabrina is set up. It is very
So
similar.
are they run by Warner Brothers, the same studio, Warner Brothers Studios?
I'm not sure. I know.
Okay.
All I know is they under the CW branch. Is CW under Warner?
Great question.
I believe so.
I want to say yeah.
But Netflix is separate. But they did acknowledge that this new Sabrina show is a spinoff of Riverdale. So I'm not sure. Maybe they have some kind of deal going on, or who knows. But I definitely feel the same type of vibe because I watched the first season of Riverdale and I watched half of the second season, and it's like the same type of tone, but except obviously you got magic and witches and cats, cool ass cats like Salem, come out of
Salem.
nowhere, save you and shit. You know, even though he's the quiet one, like, you know, instead of him talking shit.
I like this Salem though. I do like this Salem.
Mhm.
He still has like the cat personality. You see him randomly just lounging or licking himself in certain scenes, and then when she gets in trouble, he just does what he needs to do, and then he's back into a cat.
Right.
I think he's cool.
Yeah, I kind of felt like the Ambrose character could have been like a mixture of the cat they had and the Ambrose character, but I mean that wouldn't work for obvious reasons. You know, he had his own little side plots.
Right.
Oh yeah, I just finished the season finale, and I don't know. I hope they renew it for a second season because I'm interested in seeing where they go with it.
Yeah, now that she's on the dark side.
Right.
It's weird.
I mean, she had to do what she had to do to save everybody. It was that.
Or so she was told.
Yeah, I mean, when you're under that impression, I guess you just do what you do.
Because she didn't really know who the lady was. She just thought she was a witch. That's what she told her.
And she's actually pretty powerful. Very, very powerful.
She's Madam Satan.
And yeah, she's getting molded into being the current Madam Satan's apprentice or heir to the throne or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And then you got to also think about her aunt stole the high priestess child. So we don't.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
She's out of control for that.
I thought that was a little bit wild. Yeah. I was like, okay, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, so you got baby Judas, then you got the mystery baby. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of reminds me of I'm not sure if you watch the current season of American Horror Story. It's called American Horror Story Apocalypse.
I never even watched it. Never
watched the show at all?
No,
no, you got to get into that show.
What?
Yeah, well,
that's a very good
well.
show.
Watching Sabrina, what I got from it, I had a Buffy the Vampire Slayer type feel, a Charm feel. You know, it had that type of feeling.
There's a new Charm show. I didn't watch it yet.
Yeah, it is.
I actually started watching the old Charmed, because I never watched it when it was out on the CW. Well, it was the WB back then.
Your old ass.
But yeah, and watching it now, I'm like, this is really cheesy. But I gotta remember, this was 1995.
Yeah, I used to watch it too, and I used to if I get up at 6 in the morning, TNT would show the damn reruns every day over and over and over again. So I just used to watch them or listen to them while I'm getting ready for work. Sometimes.
But yeah, I wanted to watch this before I started the new season of Charmed, well, the new series that they have out now.
They actually.
But I've always been into the witch shows. I think they're pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. Charmed, Buffy. There's a lot of them, man.
And that's the feeling. Yeah, that's the feeling I got from Sabrina. I really did from those shows, Buffy and what's the spinoff of Buffy? Angel. Right?
Oh, Angel.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I didn't watch Angel though.
Yeah. And it was just like that high school, teenage, or college type feel. You know, it gave that type of nostalgia for me in the 90s.
Yeah, so this is a great addition to the witch shows. Do you guys think it's okay? They're comparable, but do you feel this show is better than those shows, or is about the same?
I wouldn't really compare them because they each have their own, separate vibe, and they're not all the same. Some of them deal with vampires and werewolves, and they all have the same sort of concept as far as them being a teen drama.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not really relatable otherwise, aside from the supernatural being involved and things like that. I can't really compare them.
I will say that it wasn't your normal Netflix show. And I could definitely feel like they kind of bought this show and just put it on their platform. I can see this show easily doing great outside of Netflix. It could have been on the CW or It could have been on any other ABC, NBC platform. It probably did great. But
Yeah,
with
they
that,
did a great job with it. They definitely had a good budget because
yeah,
everything was great. The acting was good. The special effects looked great. The main character, the actress that plays the main character, her name is how you pronounce this? Kiernan Shipka, I think. She's actually from Chicago. She's actually from Chicago.
she's on one of
Wow,
my
shout out to
yeah, she's
her.
on one of my favorite shows, by the way, that a lot of people sleep on.
What show is that?
Well, no, not too people sleep on it. Mad Men. You know,
Oh, I never watched that.
I've never watched that
oh
either.
my god, you guys gotta go check that out. And shout out to Don Draper. He's the main character in that show.
Don Draper.
Yep.
I gotta check that out. Is she like one of the main characters?
She's Don Draper's daughter, but she don't. Yeah, so she don't come into fold to like it's 7 seasons, I think, of Mad Men. So Mad Men recently ended like a year or two ago. It's kind of like Breaking Bad. It's on the AMC network, and
AMC has a lot of good shows
great shows
that people don't pay attention to.
Great shows.
Oh yeah,
And
most definitely.
I kept trying to figure out what type of show she was on, what show that I knew her from, and it happened to be Mad Men. So
You know, one thing I like that throughout me watching this first season of this show, I never not once sat and thought like, man, I miss Melissa Joan Hart's version. I want hers back. Even though I love Melissa Joan Hart, I didn't,
great point.
Yeah.
I think that was because she was during our time. Like, she was a Sabrina of our time.
But that's that type of thing I couldn't get over. Like for example, when they rebooted Spider-Man and I saw Garfield, I couldn't stop thinking about, no, this is not my Spider-Man. I want Maguire. I
didn't really like Tobey Maguire though. You know the crazy thing is, all right, I liked him to start with the very first one, and then I didn't like the second one at all, so I wasn't too hip to the character anymore.
Spider-Man 2?
Yeah.
What?
I liked and then the one with Venom. I was like, what?
Trash. Pure manure.
I was done after that completely. I didn't want to see him anymore.
I think half the Marvel fan base universe will agree with you on that one.
You could fertilize your lawn with Spider-Man 3.
Okay. But I liked Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, but I didn't like him as Peter Parker. If that makes sense.
Did he seem kind of hip or like not nerdy enough?
It makes sense.
He didn't seem nerdy enough, and he was a bit too aggressive in certain scenes, and I was like, that doesn't seem like
Parker.
Right.
Hmm.
But I mean, I guess he did just try to put his own spin on it, but whatever.
But to circle back around to what you originally asked, this Sabrina compared to Melissa Joan Hart, I did think about her, but not in a way that I looked at this Sabrina. I knew this was going to be darker. I knew that she had the more, like, you got to think about with Melissa Joan Hart, as far as that following, that was for like PG-13 TV.
And it was a comedy. It wasn't really based on a horror.
Right. It was a lighthearted family show. And this one was just all balls out dark horror. Like
all they did was.
You should watch this with the family.
No, you can't.
As soon as the show starts, is it what, 5 minutes or less? That teacher got murdered.
Scissors screwed through her neck. I was like, wait a minute, what?
Right.
Like, I really did not know any of that was gonna happen.
So I'm not so to answer Jared's question, like, I'm watching this show and I'm not even thinking about that PG-13 show. I'm compartmentalizing this actor as is of what I'm watching. So it ain't like, hey, I'm comparing teeth and nail to what I'm seeing.
Right.
But there definitely was some similarities. Like, even though it was like, how can I say it? You get the same type of vibe when it came to certain characters. Like,
right.
Her relationship with Harvey still felt kind of similar. And then her aunts, the way they reacted to the Dark Lord. You know how they used to
Mm-hmm.
fangirl over him in the old Sabrina show. So that
Right.
was still there. But yeah, there's definitely the good aspects of the old show. I can kind of feel they were still there.
Yeah, I'd agree with that too. Especially as far as like the personality of the ants went, and
Yeah,
the way Sabrina felt about her magic and things like that and her family.
yeah. Aunt
Um,
Zelda and
they did make Harvey seem a little less dumb.
oh yeah.
This one, Harvey was a little off. He was like the jock that didn't have much
Mhm.
sense in the old Sabrina.
Yeah, he was a bit of an airhead in the old
Right.
show. Kind of remember that show? What's it called? Dawson. When the guy would be like,
Yes.
"Whoa," kind of remind me of him.
That is terrible.
Wait,
But it's true. I can see it. He was a little off. I like this Harvey though. I did like the way they incorporated the new school, because I don't remember that in the old show. Her having to go to a completely new school and academy for witches and warlocks.
I kind of feel like now that I think about it, I think they went on ahead and went with Netflix because they got the show Legacies just came out. That's a spinoff of the originals. You guys watch you watched the originals, right?
Yes, that was one of my favorite shows. I was obsessed. I cried when it ended.
Oh, that
Not even
ending
lying.
was oh god, that shit was.
That hurt my entire soul.
I was like, come on
I
now.
was so done.
I'm sitting there watching this like, swear to God, no, y'all didn't just do this.
That's how I felt too. I was like, how do y'all do this to somebody? Y'all have a fan base that is like family, and you just killed family. Like, this is not how the show's supposed to end.
Yeah, so CW just dropped they just released the spinoff, which Nee Klaus' daughter is the star of, and
Hope,
it's
yeah.
called Legacies, and she's not a witch. Wait, she's a half vampire, half werewolf, and you know they in that universe they have powers, and she's going through growing up and going to an academy and learning things. So yeah,
Right.
that's a big similarity between.
But she has one of each side. She has the witch side because Nick Klaus was naturally born a witch.
Right.
She has the werewolf side, and she has the vampire side as well.
Right.
So she can create vampires. She can create she can create hybrids, and she's also a witch, which kind of sucks.
So
for disclaimer, guys, I've not watched the originals.
Oh my god!
You just miss out on everything.
You just threw me off.
No. Hey, you guys haven't seen Mad Men, so we're equal at this point. So,
Okay.
so hey, and Mad Men is one of the best
shows. I'm gonna
shows.
go watch Mad Men, and you need to go watch the original.
All right.
Definitely, man. And then
that's fair.
That's a spinoff.
I need both you guys to watch Mad Men.
I'll do the
maybe sometime in 2019. I'm not.
All right, so hey, it goes both ways.
That's right.
But yeah, what I was saying, back to what I was saying, I could see if they made a conscious decision not to have them running like brand new, fresh new on the same network right now because of the big similarity with the teen going through growing pains and going through an academy and having to be a foster kid and everything. So yeah.
But overall, man, the show was great to me. I loved it. I really was looking forward to it. I think you can follow it from beginning to end. It was a beginning, middle, and end. The ending was not as expected, but it left you wanting more.
Definitely. It was the character Ambrose in the old show?
No, I don't think so. I don't remember him in there.
I don't remember a character like him either.
Ambrose is the
cousin that's on House Arrest.
Oh yeah, him. Yeah, I don't remember him. That was an add-in. Yeah. Now that's something that we can debate as a flip. Do you think he was added in due to skin cutter for PT, or it was just like
you mean for PC purposes?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will say that because for two reasons. The character is black and he's also gay. So you have a lot of people who will say, "Oh,
Well, he's not gay. He's what would you call that? What's the word for it?
what, pansexual?"
He goes both ways. He's not gay.
Bisexual.
Yeah, he's bisexual.
Oh.
So
He got involved with a woman in the show.
So hey, he got involved with the three witches.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Sisters.
Yeah, so he was digging it. He was digging it.
That's right. I forgot about that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got an orgy going. They definitely couldn't have put all that on CW, or maybe they could.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, that's my point exactly. With it being compared to the other Sabrina, and like I'm kind of glad Netflix picked it up, but it also I think it could have performed on another platform as well.
Right. It makes sense.
But all in all,
I could see it on CW also.
Yeah, me too. Like, man, Legends is kind of pushing the brink of all these DC shows because it kind of feel like a Legend show a little bit.
oh, Legend, but Legends is definitely most definitely more lighthearted than Sabrina.
They're trying to push the threshold. Yeah,
but they touch on some real life issues. That's what I like about that show. But overall, Sabrina is a pretty good show, man. I hope they keep it going, bring another season. Don't just, end it. Like Netflix, Netflix been on the old chop block thing. Like Iron Fist, Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Even Orange is the New Black got canceled.
Mm-hmm.
So you never know, man. It's really up. It's up to them. They got our attention. Let's see what's next. So, speaking of Netflix, we can, I guess, get around to The Haunting of Hill House. So
that show took me places I didn't expect to go.
Yeah, that show kind of.
Not even kidding.
I described it on one of my posts as like This Is Us meets shit. I insert any great horror show, like family horror show. Not a family horror show.
I haven't seen This Is Us, so I can't.
Yeah.
I feel like this is gonna be a segment where you guys are like, "Watch this. You need to watch this."
You don't. What? Wait a minute. So, I ain't gonna get it to This Is Us, but that's a great show. Like it might have something in it relatable that might make you tear up a little bit. Like I'm not crying, you're crying, but I'm just saying.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a great show. It's on Hulu right now. Check that out. But The Haunting of Hill House, it reels you in and makes you care about the characters, and that's.
Yes, it does.
Even for shows that are actually bad, if the characters reel you in, that's all that matters sometimes at the end of the day. And the acting was great. You could tell the budget was great. Everything was good. So
yeah, what I love about The Haunting, and just the dork in me, I love the art, the cinematography, how the screenshots was moved. I mean the infamous episode 6, which we got to get into once we get up to that point, is
which one was episode 6?
Episode 6 was the funeral of Neil.
Yeah, so, everybody was talking about the long camera angle, the long camera shot, no takes, no cutting away, no editing.
Like, how did they pull that off? It was like it was unbelievable. It was following the father to the next character, and it didn't cut off. You know how some shots cut off, and it just, like you could clearly tell it was an edit there. You couldn't find the edit in this scene.
I didn't realize
it was a long scene for about like go back and watch episode 6, and it was just a long scene.
with those
It's a
type of
scary
scenes,
scene. Yeah.
with those type of scenes, if one person fucks up, they have to start that whole 15-minute scene all over again.
And the
Wow.
only edit that you can tell that happens was the background when it switched from the frontal back to the house. But other than that, it still was following the character. So it was just unbelievable. But that's the biggest thing I took from it was the artwork and the work that the directors put into it. And who is the director name? I think it's Mike Flanagan.
Yeah, he's actually about to direct the Stephen King sequel to The Shining. It's called Doctor Sleep, and it's about Jack Nicholson's character in the movie, his son. Because if I say the name, you probably wouldn't know. The main character that Jack Nicholson played, his name was Jack Torrance. And in The Shining, he went crazy. He tried to kill his family. His son had these powers. It's called Shining or whatever. It's like psychic or telekinesis or whatever you want to call it. And Doctor Sleep is the sequel to that. The son is an adult in the movie, and the same guy that directed The Haunting of Hill House is doing that project.
Hey, shout out to Mike Flanagan, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
I think my biggest thing about this show was the psychological aspect of it. A lot of it was like mentally exhausting.
Elaborate on
because
that.
you're kind of forced to, the way they set it up and the way they draw you into the characters, you're kind of sort of forced to see things from the character's perspective, and it's it pulls at certain strings and certain scenes. Like the one that was the hardest to watch for me once I actually realized it was the touch episode. That was episode 3 with Mr. Smiley.
Okay.
And yeah, it wasn't
it's
really.
It's interesting you say that, the touch episode, because the girl with the gloves and so
yes, and it's a little weird because we don't really pay attention to how much we can tell things from certain things. Like we don't pay attention to how much we all have that sort of gift of touch, because if someone you don't like touches you, you feel that negativity and your body kind of just rejects it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like if you're watching something like this and you can actually tell that her character can feel everything that she touches and feel the emotion and feel what happens to the person. When she touches that couch, she knows what happens to that little girl. That's fucked up.
Right.
And I think that's the part that bothered me the most. Like, how can you actually feel something like that and still go on living the way you were living?
And that's hence why she wears the gloves.
That's why the character is so messed up.
But that's why she wears the gloves, because she don't want to. She only use that ability when she has to.
And she doesn't really like to.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and man, like me and Kendra were talking about a couple of weeks ago. We like, damn, that girl she fucks with though. Woo!
She was gorgeous.
If you don't
Trish.
wanna, I'll take off your hands, you dig?
What was the girl? That's Trisha, right? Oh, Trish.
I think so. Yeah, the one she met at the bar.
Hot, man. She was hot. Tatted up too.
Yeah, but she was asking too many penetrating questions.
But that was the thing, though, because she didn't want to have that attachment to anyone.
Exactly.
She didn't want to feel
exactly.
anything.
So that's why she wasn't messing with her. Like, hey, the attraction is awesome. That's why she was with her. But like, if you're gonna ask me these questions into who I am, like, I'm not here for that. Like, I just want the body, and I want to be numb to the feeling.
But that's a lot. That's why I was saying, as far as like the psychological aspect, because that's how a lot of us are.
Yes.
Like a lot of people go through that. They don't want the attachment. They don't want, because they're afraid of how it's going to make them feel. Mm-hmm. This is why I was saying, like, a lot of the show is very relatable to like real life. Even though these characters are fiction, they have so many humanistic qualities about them. And that's what really drew me into the show.
All right. So what humanistic quality if this ain't, it's not too personal, it's relatable to you.
We can go back to the same sister. As far as dating and relationships, like how she felt. You do feel like you don't want to attach yourself to certain people because you are more comfortable in your comfort zone. You don't want to risk, going past that wall sometimes. And once you go past that wall, you feel things that make you vulnerable, that play with your emotions, things that make you feel ways that you don't really like feeling to a degree, but you do like feeling them. The only reason you don't really like feeling them is because it's risky. And then as far as like with relationships, once that feeling's gone, you put up that guard again. So I feel like with her gloves is that blocker. That's that wall. She doesn't really want to keep feeling that. You know what I'm saying? That vulnerability and that constant, I don't know how to explain it better than that, but
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, at first you would see somebody like her and think, like, what is she, a germaphobe or something? But actually, she's afraid of touching people and just getting this rush of information and feelings and thoughts. So, yeah.
One of the most interesting characters I thought was the most bogus of all of this. And to our listeners, the Hunting of House Hill.
Hill House.
Of Hill House, thanks. It's like Kendra said, so much mixture of characters. It's a show based on a family that happened to move into a house, and the father is how can we say it, is a architecture or a remodeler of homes. And he's took on this task to remodel the most creepy of the house that I don't think anybody would take, but he took on this job. And what ended up happening is the mother of the family ended up getting caught up in the house. And the house grabs her and soaks her in and kind of drives her crazy to end up driving her family crazy and eats them inside out as far as illusions and whatnot. So I hope I explained that.
Yeah, I feel like this show touched on a lot of relatable themes. Like people from all over the place can just relate to something from this show. You have his name was Luke, right? The brother with the drug problem.
Yeah,
drug
twin.
addiction.
The twin.
Yeah, you have him struggling with drug addiction. A lot of we all got family members that have vices or struggling with some kind of addiction.
Everybody has their demons. Yep.
Yeah, we had him. Somebody might be able to relate to him from his perspective or from the family's perspective as somebody who's struggling to get a family member to get over drugs. So we have that. We also have the father who has this damaged relationship with his kids, but ultimately it turns out that he was just trying to protect them from the truth, because it will hurt them. But sometimes we might make that same mistake. We all have kids. Our kids grow up. We might want to protect them from something and not.
We do a lot of overprotecting as parents.
I think the father dropped the ball on a lot of things, man, by just being straightforward. But he was too gullible.
I don't know. I think it's a bit more complex than that. Because remember, he made the deal with the other family. Okay,
But that was something after.
Yeah, but
that was after the little girl had died, and he had seen it for himself.
Yeah, it led up to that. Like, he was just so gullible. It's like, you gotta see.
I don't think he was gullible. I think he was the parent that majority of parents
would be.
are.
Would be.
If your child is saying, "Oh, Daddy, I see a monster," yada yada yada, you're like, "Okay, we'll just tell it to go away," whatever. You're not gonna think that your kid is actually seeing something. You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
Majority of parents are naive and they don't really think that sort of thing can happen because we grew up, we don't believe in certain things, and that's that. But we can't see things through the eyes of children, even though we were once children.
All right, so let
suppress or we cut off.
So let me explain what I mean. From my perspective, I'm saying he's gullible because all his kids are coming up to him with these problems, that they're seeing things and experiencing things. Then
Mm-hmm.
he experienced this episode with his wife, and I'm like,
But that's the thing.
yeah, and I'm like, all right, so now you're telling your wife to go away, and that's all he's seeing, and I'm trying to see it from his perspective. But if you got all these things, and it just now starting to happen the minute you move into this house, at some point.
But the thing is, like you're saying, he's detached from his kids, so he's not really gonna see it as much. He's very attached to his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And
so once the change starts happening in her, then he's like, okay, well, maybe something really is wrong.
Well, that's a compound situation then, which is that you just mentioned, because that's two problems in one. So
it is two problems, but he doesn't realize it's really two problems.
And you just said it right there. He don't realize, and that's what I mean by gullible.
Mm-hmm.
But you know
he
what?
is gullible.
From a realistic standpoint, that's pretty common when the head of the house is like very career driven. They always a lot of times tend to be a little bit detached from the family, even though they have the family, together and in a good position financially. It's like, I don't know, it's like when you play a video game and they give you a character to create. You can't just boost up all the stats and just have everything straight. It's you got to have this at a high point, but something else got to be at a midway point, and then something else got to be at a low point.
I think we can bet on 9 times out of 10, his kids wasn't running up to him with these many problems leading up to his wife having the episode that she had before he told her.
Probably not.
Yeah, right, exactly. Before he told her, you got to move, you should get out the house. So that's what I'm saying.
But he didn't tell her that she should take the time off until after the other guy that was working with him.
Yeah, spoke to him.
Told him about his own
And that speaks to
life
Jared's point. He's so locked in. But even before that, his kids were having problems. So it's like...
But kids always do that.
Yeah, but...
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I guarantee you that they didn't have that many problems at this one little spot. Before.
In all honesty, you move into a house that looks like that, I wouldn't be surprised if kids say stuff like that either. Whether or not I believe it, I'd think of stuff like that, walking into a house looking like that.
Mm-hmm.
How would you, as a parent, how would you react if your child told you, like, consistently told you, like, I have a friend that you call an imaginary friend, but no, they're actually real. They're here. Like, how would you react to that?
Well, I've always believed in things like that. I believe in spirits. I believe in reincarnation. I believe in a lot of stuff. So for me, if my child tells me that they've been seeing something, I'm going to believe them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not necessarily going to promote it, or I'm not necessarily going to ignore it, but I'd believe them.
You said, what was the question again?
How would you react to your child, consistently telling you that they have a friend that exists that you can't see, an imaginary friend?
Well, I'm going to keep it based on the show, but personally, how I would do it, I would stay with that child till they feel calm. But, like, based on how he dealt with it, he sung them a story, he sung that calmed them down, and I would have literally stayed there. He kind of did something what he's normally does. And you could tell, like, he did this hundreds of times. And maybe, like, to the point, to you guys' point, he like, this is normal. He's just going about his day. He just locked in. But I really felt like he was just too gullible.
He could have handled that situation like different and prevented so many things. But that's what makes shows like that feel a bit more authentic, because at the end of the day, he's a human. And it's like, I think about shit like, how would I react to some shit like this? So
check this out. So here's another thing that's gonna prove my point and what I'm trying to relay to you guys. Think about when they get older and how his relationship is with the kids. He's so distant, and he's kind of like think he's doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. He still think he's doing the right thing, and it's like his kids need him more than ever because they experienced something that they can't let go.
But he doesn't really know that.
Yeah, he don't know that.
Aside from, he doesn't know that it's still bothering them, aside from the younger daughter, because she was the only one who kept telling him.
Yeah, contacting him.
Right. So, I mean, I don't think he really thought it was affecting them that much because he was distant when they were younger. He was distant when they moved in with the aunt, and now he's distant as they're adults. I guess, when your kids are adults, you don't really feel like they need you as much.
Right.
And if
Fair
you
point.
didn't, and if you
Fair
didn't
point.
do that job when they were younger, they're not gonna really. You're gonna feel like they don't really need you now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like that's how the dad probably looked at things, and that's probably why he ignored it.
Yeah.
He
So
was content with having his wife there all the time, even though he
yeah,
knew she wasn't really there.
yeah,
He had
but
mentally
like
dealt with it for so long that he just left it as is.
he was so disconnected from his kids. He walked in like he was so and like in his mind he think everything is okay because he really is protecting his kids by being distant.
Right.
So but here's the thing: when he walked in and get to talk to them, he talked to them as if they're the Brady Bunch.
Right.
And how he's going about things. Like look, go back and look at his actions. And his kids like, dude, like you just walked in here. I ain't seen you in so many years. Like, what's up with you, man? Like, you okay? Like go back and look at their reactions.
Oh, you mean at the funeral?
Yeah, because that's the first time they've seen him.
Right.
So
But I mean,
it's like
his actions were, to me, they were spot on because, like, how else are you going to react?
yeah, but he like
it was awkward because things were
awkward. Yeah, because it was awkward because he is not. He's in his world. He's not in their world.
Right.
And what I mean by that, they're all connected. Like they're together. They're pretty normal.
Oh, you saying like he walked in basically like it was business as usual.
Exactly.
Instead of
so
damn
like,
kids, I haven't seen you in years.
yeah, man. Like he really was not. He really was disconnected. He disconnected to his whole point.
But don't forget, further in the show, they show us that the wife was still around talking to him.
Right.
Yeah. So she messing his head up, but he did that to himself. You know what I'm saying? Like he really but to protect the kids. They don't know this. And like, I'm gonna be fair to that point, but he also got to keep it in mind of their psyche, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like he was not like aware of their psyche and how they should perceive things. He's going about his own world, and I'm like, man, like you still got to be there. Still should check up on him. And his mother, even the mother in his ear, like, man, you got to apologize for how you handle stuff. You know.
But you see, she had to tell him that.
Okay.
He didn't feel like that. He was so far gone that he didn't feel like they needed that apology.
Why do you think that?
Because he was already distant from them.
And why did he distance himself?
I think it was just his natural thing. Like, because he was so caught up in the work from the beginning, his focus wasn't really on the kids because his wife did that. And they had people who were cleaning the house, so he didn't have to do that. His focus was the house and trying to sell it, fixing it to make more money so that they can buy a different house.
So why was he the one going to consult the kids when the mother was struggling?
But you got to think about this as well. Think about this from a realistic standpoint. He up until that point, he'd never been a single father. So that's a huge adjustment in itself.
What, you mean the episode when the mom goes away for like a couple of hours?
No, I'm just saying. No.
Great point.
That's not what I mean. I mean after the mom was out of the picture completely.
Right.
And from that point on, up until they were adults, like he had to live the rest of his life as, okay, I'm dad without the mom to guide me through doing my part as a parent.
But we all know by watching the show, his whole point of doing all that was to keep them away from the house. So like we all know that's assumed. So, but what I'm saying is before that, prior to that, him getting the kids out the house, I want us to focus on that. My whole point of bringing this up is that I just feel like he was gullible in this whole instance, and I know you guys are saying that he was just stuck in his work, and the mother was running the kids.
Yeah, so you saying he was gullible as far as being used by the house?
I don't think the house even touched him, to be honest with you. Maybe it did to a certain extent as far as keeping him busy at work. But
I honestly don't think he feels anything or sees anything going on in the house until he starts seeing the shift in his wife.
mm-hmm.
And then I think the first ghost that he actually sees was when he's holding her dead body and she's standing there. You know what I mean?
You might be
so I
right.
don't think he felt that sort of. The wife could relate to the kids because she understood things from a different perspective. The father wasn't relating to the kids at all. He never really interacted with them unless they woke up from a bad dream. But other than that, he was just working in the house. That was it.
Yeah, so
you don't really see any sort of interaction really with the father and the kids. There's no real father-daughter moments that are.
And it's to that point, I started viewing him as a ghost. I started viewing him as a ghost at one point. I'm like, is this dude a ghost?
Damn.
He a ghost, all right?
Exactly.
Damn.
That's what I'm saying.
He's physically there, but he not there emotionally.
I'm like, is this a ghost? Like, do he see what? Like, he really was like written in as a. I felt like as a character, just to make them kids feel normal.
Damn.
You know. I felt like he was a ghost.
So what do we think on the opposite end? What do we think of the character Steve, the oldest brother?
I think Steve was more relatable to his dad because Steve really didn't pay attention to the fact that there were ghosts in the house for the longest.
He ignored it.
He was seeing them, but I think because he was older and was the older brother who had that sort of you have to protect your siblings or you have to set an example. I think he kind of just blocked it out. Like, he blocked out the concept that this could be real. So even though he was seeing it all the time, he never thought of it as something real until he heard the father telling him, you know, your sister's dead and she's standing in his apartment.
Yeah, that was the big plot twist of episode 1.
Right, because before then, he had blocked everything out. His siblings were telling him the same way they were telling the parents, oh, I'm seeing ghosts, I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that. Oh, well, they're not real. You know, he's saying what the parents tell him to say because he's the older brother.
And then he turns around. He says he doesn't believe them, and I don't know if he flat out said that.
Right, because he forced himself to never see it because he was always told that it wasn't real.
But then he turns around and makes money off the stories and tells people like, yeah, this really happened. So that's fucked up.
But the biggest
it did happen to them.
Yeah, the biggest thing, he lied to his family.
Right.
He did see something. His father told him to close his eyes. Mm-hmm. And he opened his eyes and see his mother running towards him.
Right, but that wasn't a ghost. That was his mother.
Yeah, that was his mother. Yeah.
Yeah,
but I don't think he knew what it was, but he just knew it was something.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's pretty fucked up to tell them like, nah, come on, we just.
There's no ghost in the house.
But you go and write a book and make money off it. That's why I was glad that they wrote in there for Neil to come and confront him about that, so he could realize, like, you know, yeah, that was really fucked up what you did.
Yeah, but with Steven, go ahead, Kendra. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I was just gonna say, I think the reason he didn't feel that attachment was because of what I said earlier. He couldn't really relate to how it bothered them because he didn't see what they saw. Mm-hmm. You see, so he just felt, you know, people write horror stories all the time, so he's not gonna see it as something that really affects them until he brought it to their attention. Then he was like, oh, well, I don't see how it was a problem.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, if I'm telling you, hey, this happened and this has me still fucked up from my childhood. This happened. And you saying, nah, you just get some mental help. I don't really think that happened. Then you turn around and you write a book about it and say, yeah, this happened. Here goes a check. I'm getting rich off this. What you said happened, even though I don't believe this shit. No, you a piece of shit. And why?
He was messed up for it, but
he was messed up. But to be fair to him, that's how he dealt with whatever he was feeling at that time, man. But he also gave them an opportunity to stop them because he said, like, look, you don't have to take this. He gave them the transcript of the book. Everybody got a copy, and he said, man, you can make money off this story that I'm about to write about what we experienced as a kid. Agree with me or not agree with me. He gave them opportunity. He was fair.
Yeah,
it was fair because he had done it.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if they
getting their consent.
You take it or not, I'm making money off this book. That's
Yeah,
That's what the messed up part about it is.
I don't
He
think it
only
was. I don't
asked
think it was
for
messed
their-
up though. I don't think it
He
was messed
only
up.
offered the money after he was making the money. He didn't ask
Hold
for
on,
their consent
hold on. What you
previously.
mean after he was making?
I said he only offered the money for the book after he had, was pushing out the book. And he's like, this is what it's going to make. This is what you're going to get.
he had published
Like-
copies ready.
Right.
No.
Like,
Hold on.
You could have
Hold
told
on.
them. You
Hold
could have
on.
told them prior that you were going to write this book.
Right.
Yeah, that.
And ask them
No.
how they
All
would
right.
feel about it.
So that's the
Him
messed
offering
up
a
part.
check is not being fair.
No.
No.
I think we're getting this screwed up.
Wait,
Right, so let's stick to what was said on the show.
what do you mean?
What I caught was he writing a book. He sent them the transcripts. He told them this is what we're gonna write. That's what I'm writing, and he gave them an opportunity to make money on it and receive royalties on it. Some of them accepted, some of them didn't. And
Only
the
one
book,
accepted.
right? And the book got published. So,
Okay.
but he did this prior to him making any money off that story at Hill House.
Well,
But he had already told them.
Yeah, but
That's what-
he was already making money off other stuff though. It wasn't their story. He gave the opportunity beforehand to publish their story, to have some type of input.
I don't know. From what I saw from the scene, when they were all gathered in a room and they would confront him about it, he had a physical copy ready already.
Right.
I mean, when they already know from the transcripts, like, hey, I disagree with this shit.
So remember, this is a time thing. Like this movie is based on time. So he's already like making money and going on his book. Like, think about it. Nell already showed up at his book signing, telling him about himself.
No,
But-
she showed up at the book.
That was
signing
after
Right.
the book was
and
made,
him
though.
about the book.
Yeah, but he also like told the family that he was gonna write the book beforehand and offered the royalties before he got to that point.
No, he didn't
Nah,
tell him he
I
was
don't
going to write
think
the book
so.
beforehand.
Yeah.
He had the book
Yeah,
written.
and all right,
he gave them
so
copies.
this is where the disconnect is. All right, so like you guys don't think he told the family that he was gonna write the book? You think the book got
No,
published
he
beforehand?
wrote the book. He wrote the book, and then he gave it to them.
Right, the transcripts.
Yes.
Right, the book didn't get published yet.
It was already in the works. He was like, it's happening, whether you like it or not.
Right.
That's what you can get from it.
All right. So,
And then based on look, check this out though. Based on the fact that even if one of my siblings was like, "Nah, man, don't make this book. Like, don't exploit what happened to our mom," and that's pretty. It's still messing with all us. I would just say, you know what, I'm not about to publish this book. That's just me. But
But he did it
then we
anyway.
find out in episode 6 or was it 7 when it was revealed that several of them actually took the money behind the other siblings' back. So I don't know. That's what I like about this show. Like,
I don't view it as a problem if he laid it out what he was gonna do.
well, I'll tell you something. I'll bring up something that you gotta view as a problem about this man, this character.
I don't think he was the problem.
Check this out.
It was another.
No. I mean, within his personality, that shows you that he's a pretty fucked up person. This man.
Oh yeah, I know what you about to say.
How you
the college in college?
How you got your wife sitting here thinking y'all struggling to have a kid?
Yep.
Oh my
I know.
Whole
Yeah,
time-
that was messed
The whole
up.
time
Now,
you had a vasectomy.
that was messed up. Now that right there was not fair at all.
You had a vasectomy, and you got this woman thinking,
And then he's
like-
going to the offices, the doctor
And
office.
he got her thinking it's her.
Yeah.
and playing dumb, and
yeah.
sitting there acting like, oh man, maybe next time. Like you got to be fucked up to be.
Right.
That's some sociopath shit on the next level.
But
He
from
had a
his
great reason.
perspective,
He had a great
he
reason.
felt his family was cursed. He felt that mental illness ran in his family, and he didn't want it to be passed off to his children.
But you gotta tell the person that you married,
All right.
especially.
All right. So check this out. That ain't the sibling. I don't think it was the worst out of all of them. It was Shirley, the oldest sister.
Why you say that?
Oh,
I say that because how she treated Luke and Nell's brother twin relationship. When Luke came to try to make the wedding,
Yeah.
she up there.
Here's some money. Get out of here.
I thought that was the downest thing you can do to a person ever.
Yeah.
Even to both parties, to her sister, who she lied to blatantly in her face, and she lied to her brother. She did it twice.
Yeah, she told Luke that that Nell didn't want him there.
And Luke, he's trying.
He wasn't trying. He was high when he showed up to that wedding.
Damn.
That boy showed up to that wedding.
Hey, man. I want my brother there, high or not. You know what I'm saying?
And
like
that's what Nell wanted, but Shirley didn't do that.
Exactly. So
she was looking at it from the role of he's going to embarrass her. He's going to embarrass her.
Yeah, but that's not her call to make.
It wasn't, but that's what she did.
Yeah. So it's like
that's what I'm saying. Different perspectives.
Yeah. That was the most messed up part of all the siblings to me. I thought I felt so bad for both Luke and Nell.
They were all pretty. I don't know. Well, the twins, I'll say. They were the most innocent. The most
normal person. The most normal person was the one with the touch, the gloves, because at least her feelings was out in the open. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but in all honesty, is that normal?
It's not normal, but you like she's letting you know
she is physically withdrawn all the time.
Yeah. Don't touch me.
She's not. That's not something normal.
Yeah. All right. So this is what I mean by that. Like, all right, so how many siblings was it?
5.
All right, out of the 5, who you think was the most normal?
None of them.
I would say.
No, in the glass jar. Like if you had to pick the most normal is one. If you had to pick.
I would say.
It wouldn't be the siblings. It would probably be the mother or the father.
No, out of the siblings. No, you don't get to do that. I'm talking about out of the siblings.
I kind of feel like Nell was, honestly.
Okay.
Because she was a normal person, but I mean, how would you react to being just straight up? Was she the most haunted one? You know what I'm saying? That
she was haunted by herself.
The broke neck lady. We gonna get around to that. Problem. The broke neck lady was on her ass. They didn't have no in your face, haunting ghost, spirit, demon, whatever you want to call it, in their face, waking up from lucid dreams, staring directly into the face of a ghost, waking up like that. So
that's true.
Yeah, she had every right to be traumatized, and
because it came to her first.
And she still didn't kill herself when she went to the house. The ghost of her mom pushed her off when she had the rope around her neck.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I feel like she was the biggest victim in all this, man. And I still felt very bad for her when you see at the end of the season.
Because she was like the string that pulled all of them together.
And then you see that red door closing, and she's just sitting there looking sad as ever, man. The dad, he's happy. I'm back with my wife, but Nell looks sad as hell, making that weird face with her teeth showing and shit.
Yeah, but the dad didn't want to be there. He did that to save his kids.
Yeah, but he still missed his wife very much.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he preferred to be alive.
I mean, who wouldn't want to be alive, man? But still.
Yeah, so I'm saying he didn't prefer to be there.
So back to the broke neck lady thing. What was your reaction when you saw that big plot twist at the end?
That made my whole heart hurt. I was so upset.
You were upset?
I was upset because I was like, she's been haunting herself and she didn't even know it. And then I was upset because I was like, she's been seeing how she's going to die for her entire life. And she didn't even know when it was going to happen. Didn't even know what it was. She just knew it horrified her as a kid. And it kept horrifying her. And I think the thing that bothered me the most was even when she became an adult, she still couldn't tell it was her. And she was just so scared from it.
And what about her poor husband?
And that was the next thing. She was the only one that was able to have a happy life, and she started being happy, and he helped her with her sleep paralysis, and then he freaking dies. And I'm like, what?
I felt so bad for the
Really
dude
took the
because
one piece of joy this woman had in her life.
I felt really bad for the dude because they seemed like a real couple. Like he was trying, like, you know, working with her, like not looking at it like, let me give up on this woman. She keep on waking up, having these crazy dreams, saying, you know, she can't move, and he's just like, calm down, I'm with you.
Well, sleep paralysis is a real thing.
Yeah, it is a real thing. But I'm just saying he stuck by her and he got her through that. He made her better. And
right.
Her own self that was haunting herself, you know, because her spirit was corrupted by that house, ended up taking him away from her, and then ended up being the reason why her herself ends up dying. So that's pretty fucked up. Like, damn. And for some reason, I didn't see that plot twist coming.
Me either. I think that was the one that shocked me the most. I did not expect the bent neck lady to be her.
Nah, and when I saw it, I was like, yeah, this show is, yeah, I see why critics love this show.
It really threw me off, though. And then they kept showing her through, like, the different scenes of where she saw her and how she saw her.
Oh.
And every second they switched the screen and she just dropped.
She was dropping.
And I was like, this is so traumatizing. Like,
I felt so weird watching that scene.
Like, now you know what this girl was dealing with. And they just take you through every scene of her life where she's seen this lady just drop in front of her. And I'm like, what the hell?
That was a disturbing scene, too. It was like,
that
damn.
Was the most disturbing. Oh.
Like, wait a minute. Let me go rewatch this.
And I went back to so many episodes and I was like, wait a minute, did she really see her like this?
Right. So, yeah. That was pretty, that was a very well written plot twist. Game of Thrones level.
Yeah, absolutely. I like this show though. It was very well written, like you said. The entire show was thought out thoroughly. The way the sequencing went, the way they did the back and forth and revealing what happened through time, everything about it was perfect. I didn't think I had anything that I didn't like about this show.
No, there was nothing that I didn't like. There was.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't like about it was the ending.
The ending.
Other than that, yeah.
What did you dislike about it?
I loved it. I think that's part of, you know, if this makes any sense to you guys at all, I loved it. I love the ending because that's the reason why I hate the ending, because I loved it.
So you wanted the
you gonna have to explain that.
It was too happy, man. I was like, like, it got to be some type of twist. You know what I'm saying?
And
it's like,
guess what?
It twisted us so much.
Guess what, though?
What's up?
The directors and writers were actually originally going to have them
stuck in the red room.
Yeah,
I know.
And pan out and show that red door behind them, like, gotcha. They never got out.
Yeah, that window. Yeah.
But
so,
I'm glad they went the route they did. It's like, what more can this family go through? Like, damn.
It was so dark. Yeah, it was so dark. Yeah.
They did everything. They lost 2 siblings. They lost their father. Like, all right, that's enough. Y'all did enough.
All right, so I got a question for you guys. Did you guys know who was the ghost, the tall ghost with the hat?
Wasn't that the father from the family that was there before?
No. Well, maybe.
That's what I thought it was. The same, the body of the dead man that they had found in the wall.
In the wall. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's what I got.
And he was pretty damn spooky. Like, I would have got the fuck out of there.
Shit with that cane.
I was like, what?
Hey.
That was so awkward.
I felt so bad for Luke.
I would have ran away from
that
home.
That was the first ghost that he saw too.
So
Steve.
That's why he kept haunting him.
Let me ask you guys this.
Heroin.
As we get towards the end of this, let's go to something that we found out towards the end of the season. We actually found out that the Red Room, we thought the entire time that door would never unlock and allow anybody in, but the twist was revealed
the room
towards
that all
the
of them
end.
had access to separately.
Right, certain times throughout the season, they were actually in that room,
right.
And that room became their best, like their most positive fantasy.
Their favorite room
Which
in the house.
Sucks.
So my question is this: if you were a child, what would that red room become for you to trick you?
Lord.
think about your childhood? What do you think that red room will become for you?
I don't know.
It depends on age range. You probably got to chop it down.
Say you about 12, 13.
12, 13.
I don't know. For me, man, they would have had a video game system in there. They would have had my ass. It would have been a wrap.
Yeah, at that age.
It would have been a wrap.
At that age, yeah.
It would have been a wrap. And then my thing is, the father was like, yeah, I never built a tree house. And he knew this whole time. Now, that's something you should have told him, like, dude, there was never a tree house. There was never... You were in that fucking room, man.
None of them did. The room had the ability to make it look like it was outside.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? The boy thought they went outside and was in a treehouse. Even the older brother went in there with Lucas a few times.
Exactly. So it's like that room can become whatever you desire it to be without you realizing.
He went in there when he was bonding with Lucas, and then he had the separate room by himself when he went in there making when he was painting the dresser for his mom. That was like his entertainment room.
And I overlooked the fact that, remember, one of the episodes began with them trying to get the door open and they couldn't get it open, and one of the kids was inside like, what the hell?
Yeah, that was her dance studio.
Right.
And she heard the knocking and she didn't know what it was, but it was like she couldn't hear them on the other side of the door. She just heard the banging.
Right. So this show put a lot of clues and different things in our face that we didn't realize at the time. Hey, there go the answers right there.
Yeah, and Kendra shared that which character she was most relatable to as far as the siblings. Jared, what character were you most relatable to?
I guess if I had to pick one, probably the dad, because I'm always the one trying to, be the peacemaker and keep things glued together. And sometimes I do.
You always trying to fix something?
Yeah, I do the necessary things that I got to do, like leaving out certain shit if I got to keep the peace some kind of way. So I guess I can relate to that somehow.
I was a mixture of the dad and the girl with the touch.
Okay.
Why you say that?
I say that because I was always trying to fix things, but I'm also reserved. As far as like, I'm gonna only give you so much to help you out, but you can't help me out.
Right.
And that's kind of the problem that she had. Like, she only gave so much to what she needed to get through the day.
Right.
Yeah. To get past her fears.
So overall, okay, before we wrap up, one more thing. Do you guys think there should be a season 2 of this show?
What would it be?
The way it ended, they would have to do an entirely new family.
That's what I was thinking.
I agree.
That's what I was thinking.
It'd be too corny to bring that same family back into the fold.
I think one of the members...
Maybe they can. Like, say, for example, something happened with one of them, or one of them died and he didn't pass on the secret as far as what they're supposed to do. Like, say, for example, Steve dies and he didn't pass it on, that they weren't supposed to sell the house, they're supposed to keep it, whatever the case may be, and then they end up selling it and someone else buys it. Maybe they can do it that way.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe they'll bring back Steve, or older Steve, and
right.
Somehow maybe somebody finds a loophole in the contract, or maybe Steve dies, who knows. And then another family gets a hold of their house, and then they remodel it, and then they get in there, and then, maybe Steve can come in and be the knowledgeable guy that helps them out through, things like that family helped them out when he was younger. Who knows? But I definitely can see them making a season 2 if they decided to go that route.
I can too. So I think the one thing we need to let our listeners know that the whole purpose of letting that house be there was because your loved one can still be alive even after death, even if they died in the house.
Exactly.
So yeah.
But I think that was the next thing that bothered me about the show. It kind of fed into everyone's selfishness. Because you don't want your loved one to die, and you do want to be able to see them when you want to. And I think that's what bothered me the most. Like, the woman was like, hold on to the house so that I can be able to see her.
See my daughter.
And I'm like, all right, people pass all the time. You need to be able to let that go. You need to be able to let this house go, because this house ain't right.
I'm so happy you brought that up, Kendra. Man.
Like, that really bothered me. Because I'm like, that takes away from the normalcy of life. You guys
right. So, like, that's the problem with us as a society. We try to control everything.
Let go.
Right, we try to control everything. Yeah.
Especially with a house like that.
You gotta let go. Nah, because you being selfish if you just want that evil to still exist because you benefit from it.
Because your daughter,
Meanwhile,
and that was that.
This house is gonna fuck over somebody else.
It's not even necessary. It's not necessary. I ain't gonna call it evil, but it's just it's our inner flesh, our inner temptation, where we want to be happy all the time. We don't want to hurt them. We don't want to go through any pain.
We do anything that we can to avoid
to cope
more than we should.
Yeah, to cope.
Yeah, I'm just seeing it,
and we cannot control that at all.
Yeah, I just view it as I'm gonna give up seeing some loved one that passed away, for the sake of you not ended up dead or haunted for the rest of your life by some evil shit, while I'm getting to enjoy a family member while you over there suffering. Like that.
Yeah. How about this? How about you tell that one that loved one that's supposed to be loved one that's here while they're still here. You tell them you love them, you care about them while they're here, and you try to do your best to support them while they're here walking around physically.
Yeah, so. But I mean, as far as the show, of course they show the daughter love, but.
And that's the reason why they lost. Sorry, Jared, to cut you off, but that's the reason why they lost their daughter, because they never really let her do anything. They try to keep her too protected.
Mm-hmm.
And then she ended up going to that house anyway and dying.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
We do too much as parents, and we don't pay attention enough.
Exactly. There's a lot of lessons in that show, and like I said, it was very well written. And I hope, if there's not a season 2, I hope these same people get together and give us something else.
Yeah, man. Whoever did this show, they did a damn good job.
Mike Flanagan.
Look, I'm loving it. His name, Mike, too.
Shout out. No, I don't care. Mike is the most famous name in the world, by the way. Because I don't even know the guy's name. I just kept seeing it, and I just know, man, he did an awesome job, man.
So,
episode 6, go back and watch it, Kendra. That cinematography was awesome.
So,
was that the one with the storm?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I realized I remember the episode feeling really long.
Mm-hmm.
It did feel pretty long.
Until you guys.
It was one long shot. And you're going to see what I'm talking about.
I really didn't realize that it was one shot until you guys.
Yeah, it actually felt pretty damn long.
Now that I'm thinking about the episode, I'm like, they really didn't have no breaks.
Yeah. The only cutoff was the background. Like, it's like it was filmed in the green room or something.
Right.
And they're just following the characters. I'm like,
that's
whoa.
Crazy.
Yeah, so we're going to get...
That must have been the most exhausting day.
Probably.
Can you imagine production that day? People must have been pissed.
Oh man, they had to memorize that. My phone would be nowhere near me. I'd be
for the next 12 hours straight.
Yeah, and I can only imagine how many times somebody messed around and messed up, and they had to start all over again. Never know.
Oh my God, that must have killed them.
But thanks for tuning in, people. We will definitely be coming back to you with more discussions about you can hit us up on Facebook. You can email us at the Undiluted Podcast at gmail.com, or you can just inbox me, Mike, or even Kendra. Like, hey man, I think this would be a good idea for an episode, or check out this show. I want to know what you guys think about this, or movie, or whatever it may be. Feel free to hit us up.
Please do.
And thank you again, Kendra from Brooklyn.
No problem. Anytime.
Awesome. Man, many thanks. Many thanks.
You're welcome.
Netflix actually has matter of fact, the new season of Black Mirror drops next month. So we definitely
Oh my God.
we most definitely have to talk about that one.
I have
Very
so much
deep
to say about
conversation
that
there.
show. That show.
Hell, I wouldn't mind my tongue is twisting. I wouldn't mind watching all the old ones all over again and then coming back
I couldn't binge watch that show though. I had to watch it in sections.
because it's so depressing.
Yeah. It's not a binge watch show. You really gotta watch. That's a Saturday morning type show. You know.
Well, you know,
sit back.
I'm a dark, twisted kind of loving guy. So I watch that shit back to back in the middle of the night, loving it. Like, yeah, bring that shit.
Yeah, that
on.
is the new Twilight Zone.
That show messed me up.
Oh, and a show I would suggest that's lighter tone that you could watch with your kids. It's a Netflix original. It's called Creeped Out. It's an anthology show, sci-fi horror. Pretty good. I watched it with my
I'm
kids.
gonna have to look that up too. I got a list. Mad Men.
Oh yes, Mad
Out.
Men.
Yeah.
I gotta start.
Hey, if you're a Tom Hardy fan, check out Peaky Blinders.
Tom Hardy. And Peaky Blinders is my favorite show.
Peaky Blinders. And I didn't even watch it yet, but I will get around to that shit.
Oh, you gotta watch Peaky Blinders, please.
Yeah, I'm staying on them. Kendra, don't worry about it. I'm on top of them about that.
Cillian Murphy is the best.
Peace.
But yeah, we will be back to you because we actually doing another episode talking about Rick Grimes' last episode on The Walking Dead. So if you listen to this point, you know, you might have fucking pressed stop by now. But either way, make sure you tune in to the next episode because we'll be discussing The Walking Dead. Kendra may not be there. I'm gonna try to talk into it, but
yeah.
Hey, we'll see how that goes. Thank you for listening, and to the next episode, people.
Bye, everybody.
Shout out. Peace.
Adios, amigos.